Louis, how much time do we have? About 30 seconds. All right, let me just run this real quick and take a look at this here.
Well, Willie.
Oh, bro, come on, man. Jesus Christ. What's wrong with this guy? Jeez. This stuff is starting to work, man.
What's starting to work?
Our podcast's out there. We're getting more and more people calling. My phone is like a bringing off the hook. I don't know about you, but it's starting to get busy.
It's only because you're funny looking.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's what it was. You know what? It's funny. My wife says that to me every morning. She looks at me. She just laughs. I never knew why. I thought it was maybe because I have no idea. But you know what? We're back in Doral, Florida, in our studios, in our Prime Studios, and this is sponsored by NMO, the new mortgage order. So today we have a couple of things we want to touch.
That was the longest intro I've ever seen.
It is long. There's a lot of things in life that are long. Okay,
you got to cut that down, buddy.
No. We got to keep it going.
That down.
Listen,
you got to go. Welcome to the new mortgage order podcast.
Soon enough,
let's get into it.
It's going to be like an hour of just all the people who want to sponsor us. So let's start getting ready for that because it's starting to happen sooner than later.
This is sponsored by. Loca.
Yeah,
you can't say the name because trademarks and stuff. But it's sponsored by Loca.
So guys, we got a lot to talk about. So let's get to it. We're going to keep it short and sweet, but we're going to touch some points there.
It's been an interesting week. It's been an interesting month.
It has been an interesting
month.
It has been. There's a lot of moves, a lot of changes out there in the market, a lot of things happening,
man. Yeah.
But we want to talk a little bit and start off with the NAR.
Yeah, man.
What's going on out there? It's something that's pretty serious and it's concerning to everyone. So as you guys know, Kevin Perenio put out some information out there today. He's our chief lending officer, and I'm telling you this, he picks up a lot of good info, and we'd love to piggyback off of it a little bit, and I'm going to have Marcos here talk a little bit about some of the stuff that he mentioned and some of the stuff that we've read up on, and let you guys know that, we're all in for your support.
Let's talk a little bit about opinions. I don't know. When you really start looking at this NAR lawsuit and this whole thing, so it started with these two individuals, right? Sitzer Burnett, I guess they sold their house back in 2019 is what I was seeing, right? So they sold their property. And then after they sold their property, they didn't like the way they had to pay a buyer's commission. This is what I'm gathering, right? Then let's say allegedly, just in case we need to, cover ourselves a little bit. But I don't understand it, right? It's kind of like, yeah, I sold my house. And then you go, oh, I don't like the way I had to pay for it, though. Let me sue, right? It seems like the attorneys are these ambulance chasers just trying to figure out what, how they can ruffle some feathers and make some money. It just doesn't make any sense. It's like buying a car and coming back a week later and signing all the documents and then coming back a week later and saying, hey, I don't like the way you charged me a dealer fee. I want that back. It just doesn't make any sense.
After the fact.
It's on the listing agreement, right? What I'm not understanding it's not like you were tricked into it, right?
Correct.
We do, a listing agent comes, they go, hey, listen, this is a form, here's the contract. You're going to pay 5%, 6%, whatever it is. And for any cooperating brokers, I'm going to split the commission. You know it offhand, you sign, you move on.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, after you sign, now you deem it like it's not fair. I don't understand. Elaborate. Someone shed some light.
I think they're talking about basically that the seller, realtor is the one that's actually dominating the whole situation, the contract, and pretty much, telling the broker on the seller side what are they going to make. And I think that's where the confusion comes in.
Well, I think the issue stems from. They're basically saying, I am paying someone else to negotiate against me, right? And that's kind of where it's becoming like this tussle. So they're basically saying the buyer should be paying their own commission to their buyer. The buyer should be paying the buyer's agent commission.
Correct.
Because why would a seller pay to negotiate against me? You're not paying a buyer's agent to negotiate against you. You're paying the buyer's agent for bringing you a buyer to buy your house.
Correct.
Right?
He's pretty much doing
I found
part
you
of
someone.
your job.
Here you go.
Right, exactly.
I'm paying you because you brought me someone, right? It's like if I'm selling a piece of furniture and you're like, hey, I have somebody that buys it. You're probably going to charge me. you're probably going to charge from whatever I
referral
give
fee,
you.
a
They're going to
referral
charge
fee.
you a little referral fee, right?
Right.
And I would expect that. You're not going to do it out of the kindness of your heart. So it just doesn't make any sense. If anything, listen, love listing agents, love buyer's agent. We're fighting for both of you. But if anything, the buyer's agent is a huge piece of the puzzle.
Both of them are. And
Both of them are, but the
there's
buyer's
got-
agent is a
it
big
is.
piece. So
You're absolutely correct.
And all this is going to do, if this is like the norm, all this is going to do is increase the buyer's closing costs to begin with, right? So where does it end?
But at the same time, you have to look at the Redfins, the other companies out there. They're going direct.
Right.
It's going to give them more of an ammunition type of
Right.
response.
So let's be
because-
conspiracy theorists for a second. Is there something else bigger going on?
I don't know. I mean,
You know.
this is something that we all know is going to be appealed, and
Yeah,
it's
it's-
going to go on for a while.
It's being appealed, but the issue that I'm seeing is a lot of people are already starting to kind of adjust
Some
their
will,
business
some will
models
adjust their
because they don't
business
want to
model.
wait for that, right?
Correct,
They don't want to be.
correct.
And the moment the verdict came in, the rest of the ambulance chasers came out and started
Yeah.
filing suit against other companies.
And
So-
how many more will there be?
and
coming?
how
There
many
should be
more will there be? I just don't see, it's interesting. It's going to be very interesting to see. But agents, NAR, we stand with you. We're
Yeah, we
behind you
feel for you
110%.
guys. We feel for you guys, and hopefully we can get this done and come to a good conclusion, even if it's a contract deal when it comes to the broker and seller and buyer, and something comes out of it where it's positive for everybody, and you guys can still make your money. And
You know what will
and
end up
be
happening?
professionals.
What I think is going to end up happening? The real estate commission across the board is probably going to go down. So the listing agent is going to say, okay, fine. Instead of 6%, I'm just going to charge you 3%. You don't have to worry about the buyer's agent. Right?
I'll take care of it.
I'll take care of it, right? But then what they're going to say is, hey, if you have a buyer, I'll split the 3 with you.
Exactly.
I mean, what are we talking about
We're
here?
back to square one again.
We're back to square
So
one all
we'll
over.
see.
I just don't understand how it's always been the norm. You're signing the listing agreement, it's on there. As far as I know, in every state, it's clear as day when it comes to the listing agreement. So I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting to watch it unfold and see where it ends up.
And if you guys want a little bit more explanation, just go back and look at KP's posting that he did. I think it was yesterday, and he's still going to keep updating us. So it's interesting, and it's going to be interesting to find out where this is going to go. So
Yeah.
we just wanted to give a shout out and let you guys know that we feel your
with you.
pain.
We're banding
and
with
we're
you.
with you. So talking with that and getting that out of the way, we're going to talk a little bit about. We're going to go back a little bit, and we're going to talk a little bit about PMC. Okay, because yesterday I had the honor to attend a coaching that was sponsored by PMC with the coaching team. It was at the PMC. I would say that's your new conference room out there or
Yeah,
training.
Man, that's a training room there. Yeah,
it was impressive room. Good lunch. Thank you for the lunch. It was really good. What I was really surprised was the amount of people that were out there.
There was a lot. There was a lot of people. And I know you only came for the lunch.
Well, no, I actually came for the Coke Zero. I like Coke Zero, and that's the only place I can get Coke Zero in your office. So I definitely went for the Coke Zero.
We had a great turnout. Again, growth only coaching. Amazing organization. Amir, Justin, you guys are amazing. Justin came out yesterday, did his thing. He was, and I think Justin's actually going to be joining us on one of these very, very
he's
soon.
coming next month
So
to our podcast.
shout out to Justin. He crushed it as usual.
Yes, he did. Yes,
we had
he
a great
did.
turnout, little hour and a half, good powwow, good information. I mean, brother, that's the goal overall is just to provide value and to help our LOs kind of just grow professionally.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that's what we're moving towards. And that's what they're
But
providing.
some of the stuff that he came up with, and I thought one of the questions that he asked the guys that were there training and picking up some of the ideas for coaching about, that when the transaction falls apart, what do you think that's one of the biggest thing? And he's talking about 72% of transactions falling apart at the end. And he talked
Costs and insurances
Insurance.
are a big factor. And you know what's crazy? So I just got my renewal, right?
about, I did too.
For my insurance
I did
policy.
too.
And it went up about 20%, right? So I respond back and I go, holy cow, what's up? What happened? Right? This is unacceptable. I get a response back, well, a lot of companies are pulling out of Miami because of the risk and everything else. But Miami-Dade and
Basically
Broward.
Florida.
Florida, right?
Yeah.
And she tells me, listen, you can go ahead and shop around, right? But if you cancel this policy, you won't be able to come back with us. This is State Farm. Because State Farm just pulled out of Miami-Dade and Broward. I just learned this.
Oh, wow.
Right?
And they just got in about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
So State Farm just pulled out. I said, who's left? I mean, what are we talking about here? There's so many companies that are pulling out, and they're increasing their rates just to kind of mitigate the losses or potential losses, because there hasn't been anything too crazy happen recently. But it's insane. The policies are going through the roof, and you got property taxes through the roof as well. So yeah, it's becoming a little it's becoming a hurdle.
Mine's went from 2464 last year to 4100 this year.
Jeez, it's just crazy.
And it's going to get worse before it gets better. I know there's a couple of things up in the State House here in Florida, in the Senate and Congress and locally, where they're trying to push some other ideas out there to try to get more insurance companies in here, so there will be more of a competition. But what I think that for our next show too with Justin, we should actually have a professional who knows this well that we can invite and maybe talk a little bit about what he's seeing and what kind of strategy they're using to be able to
insurance professional?
Yeah, I would say insurance professional. I know one guy that you might know too. And maybe a good idea to maybe bring him on board and talk a little bit about what strategy they're using to try to find something cheaper for the consumers out there, if there is something cheaper.
It's interesting to watch. So many different separate situations happening, just coming together,
Everything
creating
together.
the perfect storm.
Yeah. So we also want to get on the website. We're going to put up, like we always do, our numbers and information, because we will love to invite the audience out there, any loan officers or who think that they can take advantage or really learn, or we can help them out with this coaching. We invite you to come down, take a look at it, see what it is. These guys are amazing. They do their own stuff on the side too. But we want to give you an opportunity to see what PMC does more. Again, a division of PRMG that we're doing out there for our loan officers. And that's why our retention is so high, for this same reason. It's because we want to go and step ahead of everybody else and give you something that's going to be worth for you. Because as we know, before you know it, year's over, we're back in spring season again. When it comes where everybody's looking for a property, we want these guys to get ready, and they're getting ready for that now. But with that said, I want to talk a little bit with Marcos, because I've looked at some and done some comparison, and I want to talk a little bit about
What? What are you gonna say? Don't say the names.
You
can't say the names of the institutions.
Your rate.
I
want to talk a little about your rates. I want to talk about how do you actually fight
back
against these guys who are trying to take over our book of business, because they offer these incredible, most awesome rates in the world that we all know doesn't exist. You and I had this conversation with one of the loan officers, and we were able to prove that loan officer incorrectly. And after we got done, we just started laughing, because it's a bait and switch. We all know that. So how do we combat this? What are you doing for that?
I mean, we've dialed in. We've completely dialed in. I think we've mentioned in the last podcast, we've completely dialed in. We have different models for different loan officers depending on what it is that they want to do, what they want to offer, what they want to earn. We let the loan officer choose 100%. Now, what's interesting to me is the leaders of a certain space, right? You have a channel where the leader of that channel is basically claiming to be that this movement is better or whatnot. And they're probably the most expensive in that channel to begin with. So it baffles me, right? The way they come out and they say these things and they're pushing this movement, when in reality, you're just the retail version of that side. I mean, I just don't understand it, right? Because we compare continuously with these people. So you have loan officers
every day.
You have loan officers that fall for it, get there, and then they're not even the best price. They're probably the worst price
in the market.
And then you're like, you left to do that. It just doesn't make any sense, right? So you're leading the space. You're leading the space, and you want to try to provide value, but then you're the most expensive. So aren't you defeating the purpose? Are you saying that you're better, but you're not better? Be better if you really think that you are better. It just doesn't make much sense. Plus, there's a lot of alleged collusion on that side between some of the people, that they are
Claiming to be.
partnered with, right? That are leading the charge, losing millions. It's interesting. It's very, very interesting. It just doesn't make sense. And they're like the schoolyard bully or trying to be. I don't know what they're trying to
Well,
do.
you got to figure it's the flavor of the day. It's something came out. It's the flavor of the day. They're actually putting it out there like it is the best thing out there. You and I and a lot of the people who are experienced and who's been in the business for a while, we know that right now, yes, it's basically about rates. But it's not only about rates, because for you to be able to obtain those rates, there's so many other things that falls into it that they don't disclose up front.
But forget about the rate conversation.
Okay.
Just
But
compare
that's what
compare apples to apples.
Correct, but that's how they put it out there.
Right, right.
That's the only thing that they really have to be able to offer, besides all the benefits that we have. And we'll talk about that in a couple of minutes. But it's really mind-boggling when we see and we talk to these loan officers, and I think the loan officers are starting to realize that there's more to it, because they're asking more questions, and that's when they're realizing that wait, this is not what you're pointing out that we're going to get. So
it's fun. It's starting to look like the East Coast versus
to
West
look
Coast,
like Christmas
from the '90s. This is the Biggie versus Tupac of the mortgage industry right now. You got the wholesale versus retail, and nobody knows which way is up
we're
or down.
going to keep on rocking it.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. It's just it's interesting, man. I love to watch it. It's very entertaining. There's a lot of people, being very, very vocal on that side, and it's funny when everything kind of the dust settles and things start unraveling. The truth just starts coming out.
Absolutely.
And,
Absolutely.
But look, at the end of the day, I'm not saying one is better than
Competition is
the
good,
other.
by the way. Don't get us wrong.
Yeah, but look,
all the competition is
not
good. We welcome it.
But you know what? It's not about. For me, it's not about which is better. It just depends on what kind of shoes you like, buddy. Just try on one or the other. Some people like Coke, some people like Pepsi. There is no difference. But
Coke
don't
Zero.
sell it, or Coke Zero. But don't sell it like it's this thing and it's really that. It's like, come on, man.
It's not Gatorade.
Come on.
All right. So,
But I get the movement. I get the movement. You have to throw out the jabs so that you can then invest your money in sports franchises.
you got it. So now we talked about all that. So give me an idea. If I'm a loan officer listening to this podcast and want to know, okay, look, I like what they're saying. They're talking about great rates. I'm able to actually choose where I want to be in my rates depending on what I want to earn and the margins and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you got coaching, which is great. I need all the coaching in the world because I want to be number one. I want to find out what do I need to do now to be able to compete with those guys. Which there's a lot out there who are looking for the, the magic wand or the golden ticket, like they look for.
Well, first off,
but let's talk a little bit. Tell me about your benefits. Tell me, I don't want to forget, because we really don't never, ever really get into details about the benefits that you offer here at PMC to those loan officers out there, where a lot of the companies can do it because, as we all know, everyone's cutting back. They're cutting back in certain places. And we actually have taken a step forward to do more. So just give me a little detail. Tell the
we
guys
haven't
out there.
scaled back anywhere, man. We're still going to be investing in better marketing. We have marketing platforms, CRMs. We have, well, you mentioned benefits, but I know what you mean. But we also have benefits in case you need that as well. But I know you meant it in a different facet. But we haven't scaled back anywhere, man. CRM, marketing software, still on technology, point of sales. I mean, we basically, you are part of the team, right? You're not just sending us a file and just trying to figure out, who you're going to speak to get something done. We still have full support, the whole thing, man. We haven't really scaled back. So, and we're going to continue to push the envelope. And at the end of the day, it's what's worked for us this far, and it's what's going to continue to work for us going forward.
Okay, because I know that yesterday Justin talked about your CRM, how important it is to have your
have
your
that dialed
information in
in.
the
That was
CRM
great.
and have that dial in on the CRM. That's a
He
plus.
threw out
plus.
a lot of little tips and tricks that a lot of our team are gonna adopt, and they're gonna start getting their stuff in order with the tools that we have to provide.
Yeah.
Geez, man, MBS Highway, we have CRMs, Total Expert, that whole thing, right? I mean, lead generation tools. We have, so much. Listen, if you want to learn more, yourlendingcareer.com. Just go to yourlendingcareer.com. We go through a lot of information there. It has a ton of it. You can also book an appointment with us to speak to us right through there as well. So there's too much to mention in this podcast for sure. We'll go over the time right here.
One of the other things, I see a lot of people coming in and people calling you and asking to be able to use your marketing studio. You're filming, you're recording.
Prime Studios.
Prime
People want to
Studios.
use Prime Studios.
So what
You
do
can't
you
use Prime Studios.
what do you tell them out there? They're coming in. I know
What
that.
do I tell who?
When they call you and they say, hey, I like to join you, but I like to bring in, and I notice a lot of different loan officers, especially the new loan officers that have joined recently, which we want to give a shout out, welcome to the team. They're really taking advantage of this and bringing in some of their partners out here. And what do you charge them for all that? Is it something that you charge per hour for use of studio, or is this something that's a benefit to
No,
them?
we don't charge anything. I like the way you ask questions. It's kind of funny.
This is free.
The way he goes, a lot of people, what do you charge? I like it.
I want to know because I get that question.
That was
Hey,
pretty
if
good.
I want to go to the studio, and do you guys charge me to bring it? And
Listen, if you're part of the team or you work with someone from the team, free of charge. This is what we do here, and it's just a value add. But I like the way you phrase that question, buddy.
I
very
just want to be
talented.
politically correct, and I didn't, I wasn't sure how you're going to handle it, so I wanted to take it that.
You're a funny guy.
Listen, tell me, any new programs that have recently come out that you feel that is worthwhile talking a couple of minutes about it and let everybody know out there of what PRMG has brought in with
man.
PMC?
Look, Hometown Heroes is
We're
back, obviously. Not a lot of funds left. I think 6 million's already gone, but we brought that back. We got our new closed-end seconds are back. We got the closed-end seconds. Our non-QMs, we have that in-house. We also have the ability to broker out in case you have to. Very small part of the business because we offer everything in-house. You got to understand one thing about the independent mortgage banker model, right? And I wasn't even going to mention this, but I just went that way because it kind of hit me. When you say that you have more options on the broker channel than the retail channel, it's not necessarily true. The only difference is we have all the same options. We have all the lenders. The only thing is, the difference is we white label it, right? We publish one set of guidelines, but we have everybody on the back end that we sell to. So we have absolutely every single product imaginable, right? We just make it easier for our loan officers to find. They don't have to call 35 people, right? It's just all in one intranet, in one place. So it's a difference. It's the same options. We have all the same options. It's just a white labeled solution for you, right? We have all of this bundled up into one, and we publish one out versus separate, which we'll get into that a little deeper in another show. We'll get into that a little deeper. But we have all the options that are out there. And for the most part, and I speak to a lot of these people continuously, man. They preach all this. I recently spoke to someone, right? They made a move maybe a year ago. I was speaking to them about coming. It was a recruiting call. They wanted more information. The funny part is, I go, well, talk to me about your 50 lenders or whatever it is that you do. He goes, well, you have those options, but really, you only deal with 2 or 3. You can't deal with 50.
Which lenders. We know who they are,
right? Yeah, 2 or 3. Well, of course, Phoenix Suns. It's just funny, right? It's the truth. It's impossible, right, to have all these different relationships with everybody working differently, and you're actually utilizing 50 different people. It just doesn't work, right? You're gonna drive yourself nuts. You're gonna use 1 or 2. It's what did you solve? Oh, I have all the, whatever. Let's just move on. It's just frustrating.
So let me ask you.
It's frustrating to hear.
So I know that your day's coming up, and soon you start going back to the Heat games. Heat have won 2 in a row.
So let me tell you something about the Heat. Let me tell you something about the Heat. They looked pretty good against the Lakers.
They did.
They looked pretty good against the Lakers. Bam Adebayo, did your thing. He did really, really well.
Yeah.
They looked pretty good against the Lakers. They blew a lead, but it was okay. It wasn't too bad. They almost lost the game though. They had a decent lead, so they do have to adjust. They have to do a couple things. I still think we need a solid player, but we'll see how the rest of the season shapes out.
I think it was a good game. Both last 2 games has been pretty.
We're gonna be there next week, Thursday. If you are an agent or a loan officer, you guys want to hang out, we will be there Thursday the 16th. We're gonna be at the game. It should be fun.
You'll recognize this as we'll be wearing
your bra. You're gonna wear your bra. You have to wear it.
Have you noticed this is not
The
only
focal point. The focal point.
I did sign a disclaimer that says you will be abused during this podcast. Please acknowledge the fact that you are aware of it.
I'm just saying, Charlie. The lights are bright. The lights are bright in the arena.
Okay.
The lights are bright. I'm just looking out for you, buddy.
Yeah.
I'm just looking out for you.
Listen, everything is good. Meanwhile, people don't come and come up and say, "Hey, Drake, can you sign this for me?" Okay, hey, Drake. Oh no, I'm not Drake.
That's an old joke.
That's an old joke.
If you're better than that, Charlie.
If you notice that he's becoming more salt than pepper now, huh? You saw that?
Okay, I'm completely salt. It's crazy.
So he is a little bitter. But besides that, and we won't go there, I just want you guys to know that we have our sales rally coming up in February. We'll announce it out there. It's coming up soon. So stay tuned for some good videos coming out there. Our content is still strong. And by the way, I forgot to ask you, how's Opie doing?
Man, Opie's crushing it, man. He's got his first foul in. He was trying to clear some conditions. He doesn't understand what conditions are.
No?
So we're going to have to film that. He doesn't understand it. He doesn't know what a condition is. He thought it was a foul in, clear to close. He doesn't understand how the flow works.
And the last thing I wanted to ask you this, because I've heard the rumors out there, is the doctor coming on Monday?
The doctor's coming on Monday.
What's the doctor's name, by the way?
You will find out.
You will find out?
Yeah.
Okay, so doctor is coming Monday.
The doctor's coming.
Stay tuned to that. It's going to be fun. Doctor has a lot of good
I'm trying to get him to get a
recommendations.
haircut. He's weird. He's very
weird?
odd, that guy.
He's an odd guy. You know,
He reminds me of Doc Emmett Brown from Back to the Future.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Some of
he's
these
a little
scientists,
quirky.
they're a little bit different.
He's a little quirky, the guy.
So stay tuned for that. Monday we'll meet the doctor, and that'll be our first episode of
Mythbuster Mondays.
There you go. And it's going to be fun, guys. So be ready there. Get ready. Don't take it personal. It's only fun. The truth is the truth. So, guys, we're happy that you actually
Who's
are
he
tuning
talking
in.
to?
And
Totally fun.
we will see you soon again. Marcos, thank you for coming. Don't forget.
Don't thank me.
We are
Don't ever thank me again.
NMO, the new mortgage order.
I don't like
Have
the
a
way
great
you say
weekend.
it. I don't like the way you say
And
it.
we will see you guys.
You got to say, it's
next
the
week.
new mortgage
It's
order.
the new mortgage order.
Later.
Later.